live. We're live.
Live?
Yay.
There we go.
So, hello.
And happy birthday to Sam. Yay. We'll say that
Oh,
a few
you
times
guys-
as we wait for people to arrive.
You guys get me on my birthday to do live. I don't know how this ended up being a thing, but
It's totally Jen's fault.
it's totally Jen's fault. We're just going to blame Jen. We are getting ready for our retreat that starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really came fast.
It really did.
Hurricane force. Yeah.
Yeah. I know Natalie's wearing the broken mic, so you probably can't hear her as well.
Which is just as well. Nobody wants to hear all that.
But we'll figure it out. And she can scroll over and look at comments.
Can she? Is it this one?
No, it's further down.
That one. That looks like a comment.
Yep, and that should load here in a minute.
Oh, we'll scroll all.
Yep. All right.
Fantastic.
Today we are going to be making some backgrounds to die cut flowers and stuff with. Don't mind this. I was testing colors.
Wow.
I was testing marker colors and they didn't wash off as easily as I thought they would. So we're using the Distress Spritzes. I finally got to use these. They're really cool. And I will share a few pointers with them because the first time I played with them I was a little disappointed. But I also didn't watch Tim's video, so he might have already talked about that.
But we love to head first. I got this. Jump in.
I know. I don't want to spend 2 hours watching a video to.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
2 hours. I don't even like movies that are 2 hours.
I know. So.
I'll have to tell you about the movies I watched on my days off.
So we're gonna be making some of these fun flowers, and then I'm gonna create them into cards. So I'm gonna start by making my backgrounds. I love doing backgrounds because they're just fun. You don't have to think about it, especially once I'm gonna die cut, because I'm I don't have to worry about the splashing being just right to be pretty. Because once you die cut it, they're not really gonna tell.
Well, and it's fun to just experiment as well. You don't have to.
Yeah, great.
I mean, it's why I always tell people you need an extra couple pieces of paper.
Yeah. Experimenting.
I experiment or I, dive in head first.
Yeah, experimenting is all part of crafting, especially when you get into mixed media. So these, I guess, would be considered mixed media cards.
Kinda, yeah. Well, sure, because we have a couple of different media going on here.
Yeah.
We'll have ink and we'll have spritz. So I feel like I'm talking really loud to compensate.
No, you have to be really loud because
good,
you can see in the corner.
Okay, good.
You can see the mic level.
I'm sorry if you feel like I'm yelling at you a little bit, but I just want to make sure you can hear me if I have anything worth hearing. So otherwise,
Okay.
I'll just mutter.
So I am going to be using this watercolor paper. This isn't a high quality watercolor paper. It is the Canson Graduate watercolor paper. I can tell you now it's not a high quality watercolor paper.
Yeah.
It is really good for experimenting. It's really good for backgrounds. I would not use it for better press. It is not heavy enough for that. But this is the Graduate. The regular Canson is a little bit better, but yeah. This is the Graduate, so it's a student level one. Which means it's a great price point because I think that pad is only
It's $6.99.
It's only $6.99, and this one is cut to card base size, so it's 5 and a half by 8 and a half, and it's 117 pound.
So you can get 40 A2 card bases out of it.
Yeah, you can get 40 card fronts out of it, or if you want to do bases, is 20 card bases.
That's what I meant. I'm like, what did I say?
So I just went ahead and cut it into a card front because I always work with card fronts, because I'll add my own base later. So we're going to start, and what I found with the spritzes is you want to lay down some color before you just spray it on the background. And I can kind of show you. This is the walnut stain, and when you shake it, you don't want to go up and down. You want to go side to side. And you can hear a little ball in here. I don't know, maybe I can hear a little ball. I don't know if you heard it or not, but
that's fair.
There's a little ball in there to help shake up the mica, so I'm going side by side. And I did pre-shake this, so it doesn't need to be done too much. But you can see the mica moving, swirling around in there. And there is no more sitting at the bottom. And that's like, this bottle here is not shaken, and you can see that pile of mica there on the bottom.
And it'll sit there like clay, almost, if you, if you don't move it around.
Yeah, and so you just want to give it a little stir, side to side, not up and down. And then if you can see, I'm going right on my white background just to show you guys that it does make a difference. I'm just going to do a spritz here and a spritz here. And this is walnut stain. It will need probably a second to dry because when it dries, the mica really shines. I'm just using a little portable fan here to give it some air. And so this is just the straight spray. And while that's drying, I'm going to go on the other half of here and see. I'm adding some ink. So I'm going to add the eucalyptus Catherine Pooler, which is one of my favorite greens.
Me too.
I love eucalyptus.
I do too.
She does have a lot of really good greens, though.
She does. I can't think of a color of hers I don't like, but I'd have to say we have our favorites, and eucalyptus.
Maybe shea butter. I don't use that one very often.
I haven't even tried. Oh, have I? I think I did for a light yellow. Yeah.
Whipped honey is a good light yellow for hers. So I'm gonna go ahead and add. Oh, this ink pad's dry. I should have grabbed the other one. We'll be fine. I'll just keep layering the ink. It'll get darker. Is that eucalyptus?
Yeah, I don't know that it's any heavier.
Oh.
But
Yeah, it looks like it. She switched out my ink pad for me. That one has a little more ink in it.
Little Vanna.
My fan's moving away. So I'm just trying to speed up the drying process here. You can use a heat tool to speed it up. I find that a fan works just as well. Heat tool is a little faster.
But who wants to get hot right now?
Yeah, it's 100 and some degrees outside. So I just did a little ink blend of the eucalyptus here on the on this half of the paper. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same walnut stain. I just dipped my hand in that. The same walnut stain. I'm going to pat some of that off. And you see how it really picks up the green tones. So you could do the same thing and maybe do peeled paint on top of it. So peeled paint is the green that Tim came out with. I have to give it a really good shake. I'm going to wipe my surface here.
Good obvious one was the Twisted Citron.
Yeah, the Twisted Citron looks nothing.
Like zero green in that.
Like, it's very yellow.
Yeah, the label is like awesome,
but if you were to put it on top of Twisted Citron, it would look like Twisted Citron. So you really have to add that layer of ink under your ink needs to be your first layer. Yeah. And so you can kind of see this is drying.
It's great that it's showing that it doesn't have to be the Tim Holtz ink.
Right. Yeah, any dye-based ink that you have. Or, I mean, we do Catherine Pooler, so. Yeah. And you can kind of see, like, this is it without color, but this is it with color.
Way more fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and spray a little bit of peeled paint because, you know, I'm making a background. So I'm going to, I got it nice and well shaken up. We're just going to spritz it a little bit. And there we go. And you kind of see how I did a lot there. You can kind of see the difference between the walnut stain was a little bit darker. Yeah, well, so we're going to lay this over in front of Natalie to dry. And I'm going to go ahead and do another background. And I'm going to use pinks.
Yay.
I think I want to use walnut stain too, though.
Yeah, that's your one.
Walnut stain is a good, like, neutral.
Right.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite colors from Tim is walnut stain. I use it the most.
It's a great aging.
It's a good like distressing ink.
Even though the brand is Distress, it's good to give it that weathered and worn and distressed look.
Yes, yeah.
Vintagey.
So I am just shaking up my worn lipstick is the color I'm going to use. But worn lipstick is kind of corally, but I want it to be maybe a little more pink than coral. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Quartz, which is a newer color from Catherine. It came out
within the past year.
Within the past year. It came out, I think she released it with a, I think she released it with...
She released it with her pigment inks, didn't she?
Yeah, she released it with her pigment inks. Metallics. The second wave of them.
Yeah.
Because she had 2 different color releases.
Yep.
So I just gave that a little shake, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my inked background. So I'm just going to take my pink waffle flower brush, my favorite, and do a good ink. So I am also, I'm going to mention this, I am using the smoother side of the watercolor paper.
Oh gosh,
you can kind of see, let's see if I can add some color there. So you can kind of see how it's a little, maybe.
Yeah, well,
there you go. You can see how it's a little textured there.
Yeah, we played with it on Saturday at the birthday crop for Sam's birthday. I'm going to bring it up again. Today is actually Sam's birthday. Same as Harry Potter. And I didn't think I didn't check to see. I just kind of dove in. I guess this is something we do. We just dive in and start playing. And I sprayed on the textured side, and it was very stippled. It was very obviously textured, and it was not my favorite. And so
it looked kind of like
skin,
like reptile.
Yeah.
Skin. So I mean, if you're going for that look,
which I was not,
it's a look. But is it dry?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I mean, it's still cold, so but I can tell it's dry.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm piling ink on here, doing the whole background, because I'm gonna die cut this. Well, Natalie's gonna die cut it.
Yay!
But yeah, we're gonna die cut flowers out of this. So I have my quartz background done. This color is so pretty. Like, I did not realize how pretty this color was.
Right? Sometimes I think you think, oh, pink.
Yeah, it's
really?
pink.
Yeah,
but it's a really nice, kind of mauve-y pink.
Mauvey.
Mauvey.
Like Marvy. Mauvey.
So, here's how our green background turned out. Oh, look at how pretty that dried. With all the shimmer and the mica. Yes, it is flat. It didn't curl.
Do anything but put the fan on it.
And that was because we used watercolor paper. Watercolor paper is used to taking that water medium. So there is, you can kind of see it's nice and a little like stipply and pretty, and that's a fun background. So I'm going to go ahead and hand her this. She's going to need a pair of scissors to cut it down though, because she's going to run it through the Scout.
Okay.
With the leaf dies. And see if maybe you can get 2 of each of the leaves out of there. Maybe. Try your best. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spray my worn lipstick background. So I first ink blended with quartz, and then now I'm going to take my worn lipstick and give it a little spritz. Pretty. I'll wipe up underneath me here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the walnut stain because, like I said, I want to do a little more distressed. So I'm just going to do light spritzes. And I'm not working in a box. I'm just working on my favorite glass mat here. And the ink is not getting everywhere. It is a really good sprayer nozzle. I know back in the day, it used to be like you'd spray it and it would go everywhere. It is more, it's a more pointed sprayer, so you kind of get it to where you want it to go. I mean, I literally has not left my mat. It has been on the mat. All right, so now I got this really cool background that I'm going to let dry.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm going to throw it on over here to Natalie to dry. And so basically Natalie is die cutting leaves right now, and I'm gonna steal this from her to show you guys. So she just is using the Elizabeth Crafts poinsettia die. And my leaves. She cut out the background. And look at how pretty those leaves turned out. She's gonna cut me 2 leaves, and then she's gonna cut me some flowers while I show you guys how I'm putting together a card using ones I did prior to the video with different colors. Because, you know, poinsettias, they can be any color you want it to be, right?
Yep. Genetics. People play with the color of flowers all the time.
I'm just popping a leaf out here.
Or there's actually flower spray paint. We used to have that at my grandma's farm.
Oh, really? That's fun.
It smelled good, too. It was crazy. But that's how we used to get colored.
So, there's my leaves.
Carnations. Oh, wait. Excuse me.
Very, very pretty. That green turned out so pretty. I love that eucalyptus. So this is another set of leaves I did, and this one I can tell you I used Deck the Halls with peeled paint, and I think I might have used a little worn walnut stain too. Maybe. So we're gonna start with I'm gonna do my background for my paint card because I'm gonna add some paste and I need it to dry. So I'm using this stencil from Uniquely Creative. It is this one here. We do have it in stock. It's called Lavish Stencil. It's really pretty. And I'm going to use Stardust Butter. I don't know if you guys have ever used the TCW stencil butters. She also does the Stardust Butter, which is her version of glitter paste. It is so pretty, and when it dries, I have a dried one here somewhere. And when it dries, it is gorgeous, full of glitter, like solid glitter. And I love it. It's pretty.
What sizes of flowers do you want?
I'll just do my variety. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Stardust Butter, and I will tell you when you open it, you are going to need to stir it because it is a little separated. So I'm just going to take my palette knife, which I probably should have washed when it was still wet, but it's fine, and stir it. So, I mean, it's kind of like icing. It's kind of like icing a cake when you're putting this through a stencil. You don't want a ton. You just want maybe a little scoop like this size. And I'm going to be kind of random with it because I just want a little bit in my corners. So I'm just going to go ahead and that's the beauty of mixed media is it does not have to be perfect. So I'm just going to do a little bit here. And it's literally icing a cake. A little bit there, and then I'm going to grab a little bit more to do this corner up here. All right, and because I'm working with mixed media, I am going to be jumping around a few cards just because things have to dry in order to put them together. So I am going to be done with the stencil butter because I pre-stencil buttered my other cards. And look at that. Look at how fun that turned out being. So typically when I'm working with stencil butter, I would like to have a stencil bath in my area. But I forgot to do that. A stencil bath is a place to throw your stencils to wait while you are finished creating. So it's basically they usually use like a little container, or I like to use the throwaway like sheet pans from. I usually get a whole pack at Costco. And I'll fill it up with maybe half an inch of water, just enough that my stencils can go in there and lay in the bath of water. So that way when I'm done creating, I can just take that whole thing over to my sink and rinse out my stencils really nicely.
Nice.
I'm usually really bad about planning on when I'm going to do this though, so I'm just gonna take some alcohol and clean my stencil real quick. So, but typically I would throw it in a stencil bath and use water and clean it up. But I'm just trying to get a lot of my...
Well, and Michelle Isom told me that a great tool for cleaning your stencils is those baby bottle dryer racks.
Yeah, those work really well for drying stencils.
Yeah, for drying your stencils out after you've rinsed them off.
And I'll clean off my palette knife too. Okay, well, my palette knife was already messy, so that's probably as clean as it's getting.
That's fine.
That's fine. So I have my background over off to the side drying. And I'm going to go ahead and pull my first card out. And this one I did a lot of the prep work on.
I sat there.
Just because I wanted to be able to actually have a finished card to put together. Not that I remember what this looks like.
Can we talk for a second about how pretty these are?
Oh, she finished die cutting the pink flowers.
I mean,
look at how they turned out.
They're so pretty.
Oh, and they look so different in person. They're so much more sparkly in person.
Yeah.
Because that mica powder that's in it. So pretty.
Boy.
All right, back to this card. So my surface is fairly clean. I did wipe off in between. So this is a red one that I did. I just did a red background. I used cranberry fizz. Jinx. I used cranberry fizz as my base layer, and then I spritzed it with Barn Door of the Distress Spritzes.
Barn Door.
No, Barn Door. Of the Distress Spritzes. And then after it dried, I was like, it's not red enough for me. I want it to be redder. So I went back with my Cranberry Fizz ink pad and my blender brush and just added some more ink to the edges of those petals there. So you got this really pretty poinsettia. You can take this out of the way.
Oosh.
It's okay. For the center here, I did use Prills, which we do sell here. These this little jar of beads. I used this on this flower, and I'm cracking some. It is so full I can barely even open the jar.
Dang.
So a little bit goes a long way with those guys.
Did you use like a glue dot, or did you just put glue down?
I put a pile of glue, and I'm going to probably do this on another card, but I did put a pile of glue down, and then I dumped my Prills on there.
One of those.
And then let it dry.
Snot dots would work though, right? Like the raised one?
I would use glue over a dry adhesive just because it's going to actually hold the beads in place.
I would agree, because the first time I ever tried using seed beads, I used those snot dots.
Yeah,
and
I'm like, these aren't coming off.
Yeah, they come off still to this day. Yeah.
So, all right. So then let's think about how I pre-planned this card. All right. We're just gonna go for it. I'm gonna just trust my edges a little bit to make my grungy, my signature look. I don't even have cheesecloth in here.
It's funny, you and I both started looking around for the cheesecloth. Signature Sam.
Oh well, we're gonna do it without.
Oh dear.
And this one, I'm feeling this little tear right here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tear it. I think I end up covering that up anyways. Maybe I'll tear here, because I'm gonna cover it up.
So you just tear.
I just tear.
Let it be.
Let it be. I don't know.
Because you'd already inked the edges on that, right?
I did. I already inked the edges. If I wanted to, I could go back and ink, because when I grunged it up, it does show some white and stuff now. I'm gonna leave it as is. It'll be fine.
Says it a lot.
I do say that a lot.
It's a good thing to say.
This is a piece of I'm not going to say coordinating paper. It was a piece of Christmas paper that I had a little piece of.
Wasn't it the Stephen Duncan line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, and originally I had it on a background and I was like, I don't like it. So I just ripped my corner off.
Yeah.
The paste that I did, and Natalie looked up at me and she was like, "What are you doing?"
Well, because she laid down a doily and spritzed over it, and it looked
I have
so
that other
cool.
piece somewhere. I don't know where I put it.
And it looked so cool. I'm like, wait.
I don't know where I put it.
But anyway, she laid down a uniquely creative doily. Oh, there it is.
So another way to use your spritzers, I did lay down a doily on my paper here, and I gave it a little spritz. And that gave me this doily look in this paper. This is where I tore that up.
You did.
Corner
It would have been
from.
kind of cool.
It would have looked cool.
But I like that you added more interest with the other pattern paper.
But yeah, I did want some more interest. And you know, I tore here, and I'm like, well, I want it to really show that I tore. So I'm just kind of getting a little fringe here. There you go. And I'm gonna put that in the corner. Hope everyone's following along still.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm very sporadic just because we can't do everything all at once.
Yeah.
My glue's not working.
This is a technique heavy.
My glue isn't working.
Showing them lots of bits.
Well, let's switch to runner, I guess.
All right. Is this one?
It needs a pin, which we have somewhere. Gotta get used to my runner again. I haven't used it in so long. We improvise. There's literally have no other bottle of glue here. And that glue was full.
You've got some really crappy glue. None of us.
Yeah, I don't want to use that. I'll go with this for now. I am gonna need glue though in a minute. There's some
need what?
glue in a minute. Those might work to unclog it. Alright, Natalie's gonna leave me to go fix my glue. This is the doilies from Uniquely Creative. I'm using them again. And this is the actual fabric ones. So they are fabric. And I spritzed them, I think, with a little bit of the walnut stain to kind of tint it. So they're normally this nice bright white. But because it's a little too bright for what I'm working with, I went ahead and toned it down a little bit. So I'm just gonna make a little cluster here. Let's see how this goes. Add a couple leaves in here. And see how I like it.
I got it.
Yay. Pretty. I think we'll do that. So now, if she got my glue, I can maybe. There you go. That'll be enough. Now I'm just gonna glue in place the doilies. I tend to just use liquid glue and hope it sticks. I'm sure it'll stick fine.
Aren't those doilies fun? So pretty.
I love these little doilies.
Me too.
They just add a really good little bit of texture to what you're working on.
They do, and they have a little shimmer to them, but obviously they take ink as well. That was fun. I don't remember, did you spray on them?
I think so. That was, Saturday night. That was. So I'm just kind of placing this to see if I like it.
It's so pretty.
I'm gonna pop my flower up.
I've got thin ones.
That's fine. I got some. They're thin.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna add a few pop dots to the back here. And these are the thin foam dots. I typically don't use thin foam dots, but that's what we have handy.
I love the thin foam dots. They give it just a little bit.
They have their time.
Yeah, I think when you have a dimensional piece like this, that's kind of perfect.
Yeah, and it will make it easy for me to go ahead and tuck these leaves under. Maybe. And so I just want to make sure that when I'm placing my leaves here that I do cover, like here you could see the doily is definitely cut. Thank you, Christine.
Hi, Chris. I'm here too.
She said hello, ladies.
Oh, she said ladies. I wasn't sure if she knew it was me.
Well, it does
So
say
needy.
you in the
Oh,
description.
does it? Who
Remember?
wrote that description? I did. I don't know. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for today.
I'm not ready for the weekend.
Yeah, I've been off since Saturday night, and so I'm gonna bring my off.
All right. I'm going to say card 1 is done. I'm going to glue it to a card base. I'm going to do cream.
Oh, yeah.
I need to pick up my pace a little bit. I'm pretty sure our lunch is here.
Maybe. So, Chris, she is using the Elizabeth Craft poinsettia die. Let me see if I can show the picture on here.
Chris said, hello, dear Natalie.
Ah!
I'm using these dies here from Elizabeth Crafts. She did do a second set that coordinates with it, which I really wanted to use, but I didn't want to open them. I was already opening a lot of things, so, but it is like the outlines that go with it, and they're really fun if you like cut it in metallics and add it between your flowers. So
she's also using the Distress Spritzes.
Also using Distress Spritzes.
And some Stardust butter from the Crafter's Workshop.
So there's card 1 is done, and you can kind of see I've got the doily layers mixed in there with my leaves and my poinsettia. And now I'll do card number 2, which is this one here.
Oh my
This
gosh.
one I'm going to use my blue poinsettia on, which I did not assemble my blue poinsettia, and I probably should have. We were running out of time on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday it snuck up on us.
So I'm just going to go ahead and add some glue. If you wanted to flower shape these, you definitely can. They're really, really pretty when they are flower shaped. I don't flower shape. It never works out for me.
So which way would you do it? Like to where their middles are curved up?
I would probably run by like where they have the veining on there.
Would you do the back side or the front side?
I don't flower shape.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I think if we're going to be accurate, it would probably be the back side, so where they would look kind of like
dome. Oh, Christine, I wasn't there. Open what you want. It's true, she wasn't. And she probably would have been okay with it, but maybe I really didn't want die cut.
What do you have me for? Oh, did you find pins?
No, I handed you those, though.
Oh, thanks. I used a name place folder because it has a pin at the end, and it really jarred through fantastically and got that clog out.
All right, so I guess I'm gonna add frills.
Yeah.
I should probably put a piece of paper underneath me though, so that they're easy to clean up. Put into a jar. So I'm just gonna take my Nuvo glue, my favorite. Put a little pile of glue here on all 3 of my flowers. I'm working really low here. Let's push this up. And I'm going to take my prills. I'm using Heart of Gold because I wanted golden centers. And I'm just going to dump them on there. There's a ton of different sizes in here, so it will pick up. I mean, there's some really big ones, and then there's really tiny ones.
Like teeny.
Yeah.
Little crumbs.
So it will pick them up, though. Glue. I want to look at some stuck underneath that, too.
Yeah. Brush.
I have a nail. Now we'll get it out.
Yep. I think this
And
is
so
great.
now I got pretty. Well, I'm going to put those in front of that. Now I've got pretty, and sometimes I'll press them down a little bit to make sure that they're definitely in the glue. And because that glue dries clear, that it's not going to show. And then I got my 3 flower centers done. So I'm going to pass that on to her and do my best not to drop all of these prills as I put them back into the jar.
Pearls?
Prills.
I was going to say, I thought I heard you saying prills.
Prills. They're like pearls, but smaller. And they're oh so pretty.
My goodness, they are tiny little guys.
They're tiny. Your fan keeps moving on you.
I know. I don't know why it's like rolling away. Hey.
So,
Stay.
I guess while those flowers dry, I'm going to go ahead and put together my pink poinsettias here.
Whoa. Flying flowers. Whoa.
Natalie's dropping everything.
Oh, the fan's too strong.
These are the first background I did. I didn't like them as much. So this, I will shape this one a little bit just using my nails. And I'm just going to fold the leaves in. Or fold the petals in. And so now I have a little bit more shape to that. That's as much as I shape. I'm going to do the same with the big flower. Ignore my glue I already put on there. And so that, I'm just running my nail down that, the veining that they embossed into the die. The die does that for you. And that will give it some dimension. I'll do the same with this one.
With this being watercolor, it really is kind of, it has some sturdiness to it, so it can take the curl.
Are you shaping my flower for me?
I sure am. And it's doing it well because it has a little heft to it more than regular cardstock, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I do like watercolor paper for backgrounds, especially because I know I'm going to put a lot of water on it or liquid on it. And that's why I really like this, like the graduate one. It's a little less expensive. If I'm going to be die cutting like images out of my backgrounds, it's a little bit better for that.
Well, and this would be a fun thing to do with the Distress sprays as well, or the mica sprays, because those have a little bit more color to their base.
Yeah.
So this would be another, and I have done that with other flowers, and it's super fun.
So I'm going to go ahead and add pearls to this one too. Oh, I better put my paper under here. Someone picked up a lot of the big pearls.
I don't know why that word sounds so funny coming out of you.
Pearls? It's like, you mean pearls? No, I mean pearls.
Pearls.
That's what they are.
I'm like, that sounds so funny. Like you're saying it wrong, but no, that's what you're trying to say. I agree, Chris. Dimensional flowers add a lot.
They do.
And it, it's an easy kickstart for adding dimension as a flower, for sure.
Another way to add dimensions to your flowers without shaping them, though, is adding foam squares in between the layers.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't do that.
I thought about it, and I should have, but I didn't.
I'm loving how this one's turning out. With just,
Alright.
Nervous as heck that these pearls are not going to hold, but
They will hold eventually.
okay.
Are my blues almost dry? Can I go ahead and start this card?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to start by gluing this background to my card base. probably should have inked my card base first, but it's okay. That's just an extra step. So, and because I put paste on this paper and it's just printed paper, my paper did wrinkle a little bit just from the water being put into it. It's handmade.
Yeah.
It's handmade.
Oh, yeah.
If they point that out to you, they don't deserve getting your cards.
It's a true story.
or you can blame the post office.
Hey, or you just say, "Oh, you're welcome."
So, and then I'll go ahead and I don't know what to do here. I was gonna do all 3 of these flowers in this little cluster. Here. And I'm going to add some leaves. Oh, look at how good that green matches.
Yep. I love that one. And honestly, small sentiment strip or nothing at all. You can tell that's a holiday card.
Yeah. I
like cards that.
Well, and I think this one you almost could do as like a Hanukkah card. It's just a blue poinsettia.
True story.
So I'm gonna do something like that, but I'm gonna hand it off to Natalie to glue it together while I do the pink card. Pink. Where'd my background go? There it is. Chris says, "What? No cheesecloth?"
I know, right?
I would, but I don't know where it is.
Probably not that blankie over there.
No, it's not. I think it's in the classroom. Never made it back to the studio after we used it in a class. It's all right. I'll survive. I can add it later. Something I can definitely add later. So now that my Stardust butter dried and it is nice and sparkly and pretty, I went ahead and I did this on a Prima patterned paper. So again, it's going to have a little bit of a curl, but that's because it's the paste on paper, on regular paper, not watercolor paper. If it was on watercolor paper, it wouldn't have any curl. Or shouldn't have any curl, I mean. You have glue, so I'm gonna tape. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tape my background to my card base, because I usually do that last, but I'll do it first this time. This Stardust butter turned out really pretty on this pattern paper.
It really did.
Even with my little messiness there.
No, I think that adds character, and it probably was me.
No, I'm probably just gonna cover it up. And the pink one, I only have enough flowers to do 2 on here, so we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna do a doily, but maybe show more of the doily. What do we think? You can't really see the doily. It's right here. Maybe I want to do this then. Yeah, I like that better. Right. And then I'll add my leaves. So I'll just start gluing. I think that blue card needs some cheesecloth though.
I don't know, I love it.
Oh, there's not enough glue on this. It's sticking to my hand. There it goes.
I had that happen to me a lot too. That's so pretty though.
Foam dots. Typically, I would probably put more than one foam dot on here, but for time matters, we're going to just do one. Because my stomach is growling. I'm hungry. And so I'm just adding my pink flowers here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my leaves and tuck them. How's that blue card turning out?
You know, I'm staring at it too long, so I'm messing with it. It's beautiful. The blue is gorge. Do you remember what color you used on the base? Cove blue?
Yes. So for the base of the blue flowers, I used Cove Blue from Catherine Pooler and what's this one called? Uncharted Mariner mixed with a little bit of peacock feathers.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
I do remember. It's so pretty.
And I think one more leaf and it'll be done. Typically, I like to do things in threes, so I would do 3 flowers. But because I didn't give Natalie enough paper to cut 3 flowers out, we don't have 3 flowers.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's fine. But there's my pink card.
Oh, it's so pretty next to those pink flowers on the pattern paper. Oh, all right, and here's the blue card.
So, and then here's the blue card. So this is the same die, same basic materials. I just switched up the paper a little bit. And you got 3 cards. So you got your card for your red traditional friend, card for your, my favorite color is blue, so I would love the blue card. And your card for your pink friend, because, you know, we all have a pink friend.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
3 cards in 45 minutes, I'd say.
When there's a lot of drying that needed to happen.
Yeah, it was, I should say 3 mixed media cards in 45 minutes.
For sure.
They all have paste on them. I mean, I did do some prep work, so maybe an hour.
Yeah.
But,
play with your spritzes and play with your ink.
Play with your mediums.
And have them all just kind of waiting for you to play with.
Yeah, make backgrounds. That's the best part. Make backgrounds.
Yep.
I did use the spritz on the flowers. Is when the replay gets posted, you'll be able to watch how I did the background. I did a pink background and a green background on camera, so you'll be able to see that. But yeah, you'll have to come see them in person because the mica powder really shines in person.
It does.
So definitely come in and see us.
And it'll show the textures and all the pretty. There's a lot of pretty here.
Yes. I think they turned out fun. I would almost grab like a little Merry Christmas banner and add it to all of them.
Or even those little ones from...
the little memory box tiles would be perfect for that, where you could just add a little tile in the corner here.
Was it Katie Sue that did all those little
banners? Katie Sue did Merry Christmas banners. Those would be quick and easy to grab and put on there.
Put a little shimmer paste around the side of it, and that'd be so pretty.
Yeah, that would be fun. So, 3 cards. Come in and see us. Come see them in person.
Come see them in person. Sam, Chris, and I will be at a retreat this weekend, but we'll be around.
Yep. We'll be here.
Yeah.
And we are closed on Sunday.
Yes, we are
correct?
Closed Sunday.
We're closed on Sunday. We're celebrating our staff. We're giving them a Sunday off, a guaranteed Sunday off. So, that's fun.
Yeehaw.
Yay. I definitely get a Sunday off. I always get a Sunday off, but you know, Natalie gets a Sunday off.
I know, yeah, because I've had a few Sundays off, and so this would have probably been the Sunday I had to work, and so I'm grateful.
Yeah. So, we will, we'll catch you guys next time. There is no live on Friday.
Correct.
With us being in the retreat, so we'll,
yay, the retreat!
I think we'll post, I'll probably gather some pictures to post on Friday of what's new.
Yay.
Yeah. So Natalie can go ahead and stop the video here.
All
Goodbye.
Right. Happy birthday to Sam.
Thank you.
Yay.